Norman Rockwell is famous for his seasonal paintings, depicting snow-lined streets of Middle America, plump turkeys with cranberry sauce and stuffing, and pitched roof abodes festively lit for the holidays. Now, as anyone growing up here in New Mexico knows, the landscape looks a little different, and we wouldn't have it any other way. On this special holiday edition of Legendary New Mexico, we explore the diversity of celebration throughout our great state, discovering what makes our holiday season unlike anywhere else in the nation.
Legendary New Mexico, in partnership with TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and New Mexico is the most wonderful place to celebrate the holiday season. The streets of the Duke City come alive at the beginning of December with the nationally acclaimed Twinkle Light Parade. Shoppers hit the stores of Nob Hill, gathering their treasures for their loved ones, shopping local, and making the holidays bright for small business. Down south, the Pecos River is aglow with magnificent lights and displays, giving New Mexico its premier waterfront attraction with Christmas on the Pecos. Menorahs are lit with southwestern style as Hanukkah gets underway, this year starting on Christmas Eve and continuing through the new year. Northern New Mexicans engage in a civil feud with celebrants south of Santa Fe, debating whether these bags lit with candles are called Farolitos or Luminarias. But something all New Mexicans can agree on is piping hot pozole with fresh tamales, gathering with family and friends, and celebrating another year of health and happiness. Without question, Christmas in New Mexico probably has more of a cozy feeling to it than anywhere else in the country. That's especially true in Santa Fe, where one iconic spot near the plaza ties the feeling and the reason for the season all together. David Romero has that story.
From its Romanesque-inspired architecture to its ties with the establishment of New Mexico, the Cathedral Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi in Santa Fe draws in visitors year-round. But at Christmas time, the church takes on a whole different feeling to it.
People from all over come here, and you can't help but at Christmas time feel spiritual and connected to what the season is about, even though stores and other places tend to drift off into the merchandising of it. People are called spiritually back to its roots.
Completed in 1886 by then Archbishop Jean-Baptiste Lamy, both the interior and exterior of St. Francis was inspired by churches from Lamy's native land of France. It wasn't until renovations in the 1980s that a Spanish altar screen was installed in the church, tying the church's French roots in with those of New Mexico. Another strong tie is the untouched part of the original adobe cathedral, known as La Conquistadora Chapel.
This cathedral is certainly a combination of so many traditions and peoples and cultures, which is the church. It is not just one people, it is just not one way of seeing things, but multifaceted as God is, and this cathedral is a testament to that.
Since its completion, this will be the 130th Christmas celebrated here in Archbishop Lamy's Cathedral, and with it, each of them has a special and significant tie to New Mexico and the land of enchantment.
There's a lot of people that are fascinated with the way the church is decorated, and through the efforts of Father Adam, it's been very successful through the years,
We raise our voices to the Father in a hymn of praise and thanksgiving for all the gifts He has bestowed on us.
Recently, the cathedral celebrated the end of the liturgical year with a ceremonial closing of the doors. These are the preparations for the Christmas season.
It draws everyone back to a center, to a place of groundedness. This holy place has stood here for centuries, and not only in these walls, but certainly the remains of our ancestors buried under the cathedral ground people in something that has a greater longevity than any of them, and that is faith, and that is tradition, and that certainly is Santa Fe. The very reason why people came out here, above all, was to spread faith, and that faith continues to live and breathe here in the people that come and visit.
For Catholics and non-Catholics, the Cathedral Basilica of St. Francis remains an icon of Santa Fe. And with the coziness of winter and special feelings during the holiday season, it becomes a land of enchantment destination in more ways than one. David Romero, Legendary New Mexico.
When we return on Legendary New Mexico, we're heading south as we take a look at Christmas on the Pecos as the river becomes full of lights.
This is the 25th anniversary for a unique southern New Mexico Christmas tradition, something called Christmas on the Pecos. This one captivates the imagination of thousands who live in or visit Carlsbad, New Mexico each holiday season. KRQE News 13's pilot reporter Bob Martin begins our visit with a view from Skydrome 13.
Stretching almost 5 miles through the heart of Carlsbad, thanks to a dam, the Pecos River here slows, widens, and becomes Lake Carlsbad. Event centers and parks, even a new commercial water park, dot the shorelines. But every Thanksgiving weekend, continuing daily through Christmas, tour boats load up nightly carrying passengers on a whimsical, colorful journey. As you can see from a different drone in this video provided by the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, Lake Carlsbad becomes a river of lights. 100 lakeside homeowners erect brilliant displays facing not the streets, but the lake, transforming the waterway into a shining, magical wonderland.
Started 25 years ago with just a few homeowners decorating their homes, trying to achieve fascination on the river, trying to achieve something unique and different. We're a very small town isolated in the desert, and this is one way we can do something totally unique.
For as little as $5 for kids and $10 for adults, you can buy seats on one of several tour boats that glide slowly past the shining scene.
You'll see everything imaginable. Everyone does something unique and different. It does take a lot of work to put this on. We have 100 homeowners, and they get out and just do a tremendous job for us.
Community spirit and pride drives those who create this experience each year. For elderly or disabled homeowners who want to be part of this, Chamber volunteers pitch in to set up their displays.
We just spend the day pretty much doing what they want. If they have a vision, we just try to make it happen for them. We go out and decorate and take care and troubleshoot light and bulb problems throughout the season.
In addition to the homeowner effort, the Chamber erects other lighted displays throughout the lake area. The total effect is a miles-long, shimmering holiday adventure.
We're not really a winter destination, so for us this project is huge. It's a big driver into the economy. You know, people have their trolley tours, and I know Albuquerque has their River of Lights at the biopark, but where else can you go in New Mexico and actually do a boat tour and experience, 100 homes that are fully decorated for the season?
It is 25 years, and I think it's become stronger every year. Technology has enabled us to do more fascinating things with lights than we did 25 years ago. It is magical, and when you go on the boat, it's a totally different experience than going through a walking tour. Especially on the water, with the shimmering of the lights on the water itself, it truly is something that you'll never see again anywhere else. Well, as a homeowner as well, we hear the fascination of the children on the boats as they go by our home, and it is unbelievable how exciting and fascinated they are with this project. So if you come and you watch for yourself, you'll see what they get so excited about.
In Carlsbad, Bob Martin, KRQE News 13 for Legendary New Mexico.
The lights of the Pecos aren't the only ones glowing bright this time of year. The blue and silver shine of Hanukkah is alive and well in New Mexico. And with the holiday falling late in 2016, it's opened up the opportunity to combine the Festival of Lights with a New Year's celebration you won't find anywhere else. Throughout the month of December, the glow of festive lights adorn homes across New Mexico. And for 8 very special days, those lights turn blue and silver in celebration of the Jewish Reclamation.
Hanukkah is the Festival of Lights, and it commemorates an ancient incident and story thousands of years ago when Jews were successful in throwing off the yoke of Syrian oppression.
In 164 BC, an uprising of Jewish warriors known as Maccabees successfully overthrew the tyrannical rule of King Antiochus IV, who was a particularly merciless monarch.
After the victory, the Jews reclaimed the ancient temple in Jerusalem.
The Maccabees wanted to reconsecrate this highest of sacred grounds in Judaism.
When they got to the temple, they lit a holy lamp to reconsecrate the temple. Through the miracle of Hanukkah was that this lamp with the holy oil burned for a full 8 days.
While Hanukkah isn't considered the highest of holy days in Judaism, it has become a central part of the American holiday season.
When it hit America, it became Americanized and in every respect.
The holiday as we know it began in the 1920s. Retailers began selling ideal Hanukkah gifts, appealing to the growing commercialism surrounding the sacred celebrations.
But nonetheless, it has grown to be one of the most widely celebrated holidays, and certainly one of the Jewish holidays that the rest of the world knows the most.
But as with every celebration, no one does it quite like New Mexico.
The JCC loves Hanukkah because it's a way we can welcome the entire community to our facility.
Burquiños are invited to join the Jewish Community Center on December 10th for Oi, a sketch comedy show centered around the holiday. And on the 11th at noon, they can stop by for the Hanukkah festival. Hanukkah starts on Christmas Eve this year, running through New Year's Eve. And to bring the Festival of Lights to a stunning close, local organization Chabad has lined up a celebration uniquely New Mexican.
So on New Year's Eve, we're going to have the world's largest menorah ever, created out of glowing hot air balloons at the Balloon Fiesta Park.
While the Festival of Lights does belong to deeply rooted Jewish tradition, Hanukkah has meaning for everyone.
The holiday really does celebrate a rebirth of religious freedom for the Jews in the Middle East, and celebrates in some senses religious freedom for all of us.
Chad Brummett, Legendary New Mexico.
Don't go away. When we come back, we're diving into how Native Americans in New Mexico have combined many traditions to create their own. Legendary New Mexico, in partnership with TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling.
Christmas celebrations in the United States have changed drastically over the years, and not just because of the growing commercial demands of the holiday. Here in New Mexico, traditions have been shaped and created through the marriage of cultural and spiritual beliefs within the 19 different pueblos of our state. It's been said that Christmas celebrations in New Mexico are unlike anywhere else in the world. That's due in large part to the convergence of the Christian holiday with Native American traditions.
The concept of Christmas and the celebration of the Christ child was first introduced to Pueblo people in our communities when the Spanish came and they brought the Catholic religion.
The mid-16th century saw the arrival of Catholic priests who established missions, such as the San Jose de los Jemez Church, located on the Jemez historic site.
I think the overall introduction of Christmas took many, many decades to understand, to also being implemented.
For many Native Americans, preserving cultural and historical integrity with Christian celebrations was, and is, of the utmost importance.
Part of our annual celebrations of activities during the different solstices or times of the year, the seasons, were incorporated with our traditional dances and our traditional ways of life and beliefs, and incorporated into the overall celebration of what we know now as the Christmas time.
Just as the Catholic celebrations feature unmistakable icons of the season, so too do Native Americans.
During the month of December, some of our Pueblo communities also have Matachinas dances.
The Moorish dance is featured in the winter celebrations at many pueblos in northern New Mexico, and is just as popular as feast days, which are held on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, many open to the general public. But while there are distinct features of Native American holidays, much of the celebration is the same as non-Native believers.
The families get together and they either have a live tree or a fake tree, and they adorn the Christmas tree with different items that mean that have significance, importance to them, or a particular theme.
Sound familiar?
We in the Southwest and New Mexico really take a piece of who we are and share it with others as that annual celebration of friendship, of love, and a compassion.
Ultimately, Christmas on the Pueblo is all about tenacity, adaptability, and love.
Through our different interactions with other sovereigns, Mexico, Spanish, and the U.S. government, that we've, in essence, transitioned through many different changes and transformations, but we're still very resilient in the maintenance of our way of life, in our languages, in our traditions.
Traditions that will continue for generations to come. Chad Brummett, Legendary New Mexico. Among all the traditions that are signature Southwest, the Luminaria has to be the most recognizable. This small paper bag filled with sand and illuminated with a candle has got quite the story, and oddly enough, quite the controversy. David Romero has more.
It's one of the most popular activities of the season in Albuquerque, the Luminaria Tour. For years, buses take locals and visitors to designated neighborhoods around the Duke City to view paper bags filled with sand and candles as they light up streets and building tops. But the name itself may be misleading to some.
Luminarias, or we always save the very special firewood for luminarias. It's stacked in a little stack in squares. It's laid up on squares, and the average height can be, 3.5 feet.
Wait, did he just say firewood squares stacked 3 feet high?
3.5 feet.
That's right. Officially in the Spanish language, a luminaria is actually a bonfire, the traditions of which tie in with Christmas celebrations in the northern part of the state.
So typically when we are doing posadas, it's very cold, and it will be a house in northern New Mexico that has the way to the entrance of the house lit up with both farolitos in the small bags and then the luminarias, which are big roaring fires that are at a safe but near distance to the house so that the people who are enacting las posadas will be kept warm.
But because of the Americanization of the custom, because of the urbanization of the custom, the word that stuck is luminarias, and in the city here, and that's fine. It's not it's not like it's incorrect. It's just what people say here.
While it may be that luminaria is what's now the norm, once you hear what a farolito is, it may just change your mind. That's coming up after the break. David Romero, Legendary New Mexico.
Before the break, we took a look at the tradition behind the luminaria and what makes this decoration so special. And the holiday season just wouldn't be the holiday season in New Mexico without the debate. Is it a luminaria or is it a farolito? KRQE's David Romero continues his investigation.
Using the actual definition of the word, if luminarias were to be lit in the city and line the streets, massive bonfires would be ablaze. But within the last 60 years, in some parts of New Mexico, that word has been transformed to refer to something else, farolitos.
The farolito are the candles inside of a bag, but a luminaria is a stack of wood where you stack it 2 by 2 to create sort of a tower.
By definition, the root word farol is a lantern. Therefore, a small lantern would be a farolito. So why call a little lantern a bonfire? Well, there's still some strong debate exactly where or how the term transformed.
It's kind of what people call farolitos in Albuquerque. It's not wrong. It's just a practice.
While this may never squash the debate, by definition, there is a correct term and an incorrect term. However, as with many things in New Mexico, the land of enchantment is an assortment of many areas, leading language experts to diagnose the mix-up as a regional matter.
I think by this time it's ingrained, and I think the only way to clear it up is would be to take people away from the urban area so they could really see what the luminaria looks like in one of the beautiful small villages of northern New Mexico. Because once you participate in posadas in one of the small villages like Ojo Caliente, Dixon, Pecos, and any of the other numerous villages, you would see that, it's just so beautiful that I think after that you'd come back arguing for the farolito.
David Romero, Legendary New Mexico.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Legendary New Mexico. From all of us here at KRQE News 13 and Fox New Mexico, have a safe, happy, and healthy holiday season.